One thing I want to ask you about as well. I want to ask you about Haiti. I was
Mhm.
on RT because RT is the only place that would invite radicals on to tell the truth
Mhm.
about Haiti. We saw Biden's recent policies where he support the invasion of Haiti, but not only just Biden, AMLO. You got a lot of people in the global South and the Western Hemisphere in general, and not just neoliberals who are bad on this issue. Now, I actually don't know a lot about this particular
Okay.
topic, the tension and the racism within the Dominican Republic.
Mhm.
And you guys wrote this article, and I actually would love to ask you about it because I would love to learn more about it myself. Once again, Black Identity Report is where I get a lot of my information debunking the West narrative and in South America and Haiti in
Mhm.
particular. I always go to them. So, do you want to chime in on the story? Because this is
Sure.
from the Black Identity Report, the Dominican Republic. I don't know why I struggle with that. Their president, anti-Haitianism. Do you want to take that on?
Well, people sometimes just say the DR. Here in New
Yeah, the
York,
DR.
everybody knows what that means,
Yeah.
because there's so many
Yeah.
Dominicans in the city. So, for your viewers who may not know, Haiti shares an island with the Dominican Republic, the island of Hispaniola, and about 2/3 of the island are the Dominican Republic on the east end, and Haiti's about a third of it on the west end of the island. The Dominican Republic, despite being a global South developing country, has a stronger economy than Haiti does. And so what happens? Haitians have for decades migrated to the Dominican Republic to find work. A lot of the work is horrible. Sugarcane plantations. They're called, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Batey, Batey. Um, but there's a lot of racism, anti-black racism in the Dominican Republic. Now, many Dominicans are black people. It's a bit amusing here in New York. Someone who looks like me will say, "I'm not black, I'm Dominican," as if a nationality. They do. It happens all the time, as if this nationality means you are not black. But
That's wild.
yes. So Haitians have been part of the Dominican Republic for decades, but have been victims of oppression all during that time.
Yes.
Some years ago, about 10 years ago, Haiti passed a law which made people of Haitian descent who lived in the Dominican Republic, which made them undocumented. So one day people were legal residents of the Dominican Republic, and the next day they were not. This only heightened the bigotry against Haitians. And what happened with these people, I will tell you. So somebody who's born in the Dominican Republic, their parents were born in their Haitian ancestry, though. All of a sudden they passed this law, and now you don't have permission to get health care, you don't have permission to go to school, you don't have permission to get a job. And so this was obviously a terrible thing to do to those individuals. It also put darker skinned black Dominicans in the same category. Now they're being discriminated
Mm.
against. There's always a desire in the DR to deport as many Haitians as possible, which they're accelerating now, which is what that and other articles we've had in Black Agenda Report lately have described. So the Dominican Republic plays this terrible role in oppressing Haiti. And Haitians, immigrants there, or Dominicans of Haitian descent there, and it's something that does not get enough attention.
No.
So, as you say, Black Agenda Report is the place to get it. But I want to say about Haiti in general, the worst thing that can happen for Haiti is to have another occupation. That's the last thing Haiti needs. Haiti has been victimized. First by France, which stole their assets over decades. The United States sent the Marines when Woodrow Wilson was president, literally stole money out of the banks in Haiti. The U.S. propped up the dictators, the Duvaliers, although the oligarchs in Haiti, and we've had a couple articles about this, the oligarchs of Haiti are lighter skinned people of Middle Eastern
Yes.
ancestry and European ancestry. They call them Bam Bam because their last name's BAM and BAM. So I hope people look that up. But they're the ones who control Haiti. They're wealthy. They're not just the richest people in Haiti. They're some of the richest people in the Caribbean. And they're the ones who run the country. The U.S. works with them to make sure that the popular will is never realized. The one true president, that is to say, who was elected, who the people wanted, Jean Bertrand Aristide, the Bush Jr., Bush 43 administration, literally kidnapped him and assisted with a coup backed by those forces. But the Haitian people keep protesting, and you see this footage of people protesting, and they talk about Haitian gangs. There are gangs in Haiti, but the footage is generally of people protesting. They're
Yeah.
protesting against the puppets that the U.S. puts in place, protesting against the sweatshops that Bill and Hillary Clinton brought there, protesting against the fact Hillary Clinton forced them to have, and that, of course, her boss, Barack Obama, too, forced them to redo an election to get the person in that they wanted. So people in Haiti are always in movement. They are always in a state of protest. But these gangs who get these arms from where? Well, I wonder where. These oligarchs are the ones who give them this military grade weaponry, and then everybody's like, "Oh, there's gangs in Haiti. How did that happen?" So that's what people need to know. During the last occupation, some of those UN, and the UN is no friend to Haiti, UN troops
Yes.
from Nepal were literally dumping their crap in a river and brought cholera to Haiti. Cholera is still in Haiti to this
Mhm.
day, years later. Haiti does not need an occupation. Haiti needs democracy. It needs to be left alone. But instead, the US and the core group, as they call themselves, the UN, the EU, France, Canada, all they just pick presidents for Haiti. So President Jovenel Moise fell out of favor with the oligarchy last year and was assassinated. So now there's this, he's called a prime minister, Ariel Henry, but the people didn't elect him. The core group
Yeah.
chose him. And you mentioned AMLO, the president of Mexico, President Mr. Lopez Obrador, is among those working with the UN to try to connive some way to have a new occupation. Lula in Brazil, Brazilian troops, while he was president, occupied Haiti. So there are
Hmm.
people who get credit for being on the left, but they aren't when it comes to Haiti. And that's something else that people have to be
Let,
very
Uh,
careful of.
Go ahead,
let,
CJ.
let me, yeah, because I have a question to kind of piggyback on that. That when you're adding that the true history there about Lula, um, how much of this about Haiti and every other country's participation in perpetuating the state, the status of where Haiti is now, has to do with the successful overthrow of slavery there. Like
Mhm.
how much is that still this is for payback for that?
I think it's revenge against the Haitian people for daring to rise up. I think you're absolutely right. They're African people who overthrew a colonial power, France. France, Haiti was so profitable to France. France had to sell their U.S. territories. The Louisiana Purchase,
Yes.
which was almost half of what's now the United States, belonged to France. They hadn't really settled it, though, except in Louisiana, a couple other places. At any rate, because they lost this very profitable plantation economy, they had to sell what is called the Louisiana Purchase to the United States, which nearly doubled the country in size. The irony is that it expanded also the territory for enslavement. But at any rate, but that's what the Haitian Revolution achieved, and that's why it's been under attack since the beginning. France threatening to invade and stealing their money. And as I, and not to repeat myself, but you're absolutely right. This was revenge against Black people for daring to stand up.
Mhm.
Haiti is an example for the world. They still use Haiti. I spoke of these oligarchs. This is why it's in everyone's interest in the region to fight for Haitian true independence and true sovereignty. When people want to go on strike, let's say in Central America, let's say in Guatemala, as sweatshop workers, and they want to go on strike, what's the first thing they're told? Well, if you go on strike, we'll just leave here and go to Haiti. So that gives you an example of the role that what has been done to Haiti, what it means for the world. Venezuela, though, has been a friend, and the late Hugo Chavez used their oil wealth to help other Caribbean nations. But the Haitian oligarchs stole the money. That's another thing that people protest
Yeah.
in Haiti. So every black person in the world should be a friend to the Haitian people. And that
Right.
means opposing all of these forces that want to keep this country subjugated.
And
It's the same sort of strategy. Let me just add this, and then
go
you
ahead,
can
go
answer
ahead.
your question.
You go
It's the
ahead.
same strategy they do on the black population everywhere, where this is constant disabling because they're afraid of us mobilizing. It's a constant perpetuation of disabling our communities, and it's the same sort of thing that happens here. You see, there. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I love the point that you bring up, Margaret, when you talk about the shadow white oligarchy in Haiti, and this is something I'm learning more recently. And when you look at the politics of a lot of the countries in the global South and in South America, it is way more black and white than here. We have all these random culture wars. It's much more of a class war. Like when you look at Venezuela, when you look at Brazil, and now you look at Haiti as well. It's largely a class war. I'm gonna show you guys this. This is a great account I follow. They always post a lot of great stuff about Haiti, and they explain, and a lot of people don't, once again, this is something I'm recently learned about. Like when you look at a lot of the forces that are responsible for Haitian exploitation, they're this white, rich capitalist class within Haiti. And I actually read one of your articles in Black Agenda Report. You guys explain how they spend a lot of money and they use their power and resources to stay hidden in Western media as well. Like if you watch like MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post coverage, they would never mention these people. It's almost that's why I call them shadow oligarchs. They want to be hidden and remain behind the scenes, so people are like, oh, look at these black people who can't run their own
Right.
country, but it's actually these rich, white, powerful people. As you explained earlier, Morgan, you can speak on this some more as well.
What is
That
their
is
descent
helping.
again? You described their descent, and
Sure.
what is
So,
their ethnic descent again?
some of them are Middle Eastern. So some
Okay,
of them came from Lebanon and
okay,
Syria, some European, Germans, but they are white people or light skinned people. They are not African descended people, that's for sure. And but they are the ones who run the country, and they are the ones that the U.S. uses to get what it wants from Haiti. We had a great, I had an interview and we had an article from writer Jafrik Haiti, who if you want to do something about Haiti, he's one of the people I recommend you talking to about the history of their presence in the country and what they do up until this day. And yes, they are hidden. New York Times and Washington Post won't tell you about them. So it's just a story about Black people not being able to govern themselves, and not the
yeah.
story of international capital oppressing Haiti with the help of the U.S. and Canada and France and the EU and even the UN.
Yeah, well said. Now I want to I want to read the tweet because it does a good job explaining this as well. Once again, something I'm recently learning about. If it wasn't for Twitter and Black Agenda, we probably would not know about this. They exclude
Yeah.
this part. They said just a simple reminder that Haiti has the most millionaires. Do you guys know that? Do you guys? I didn't know that until I read this tweet. Most of them migrated there in the last century to exploit Haitians. U.S. racist policies of elevating whiteness to rule majority blacks also contributed to apartheid that exists in Haiti today. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Is very important context, and this is the context I try to explain when I was talking about Brazil and Venezuela as well. Like when you look at the support even that Lula had, it was poor, even evangelical blacks. When you look at Venezuela, most of people that support Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro was indigenous. 40% of the population is indigenous. Then you had brown and black people supporting them. And then in Venezuela, you had the Juan Guaido class, the white, rich Venezuelans that sided with capital, and they wanted to open up the country to U.S. companies, right? And this class war is very persistent throughout South America. That is the result of the Cold War. But I'm gonna shift to the next topic. CJ, anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to add regarding Haiti?
I
Before
do
move on to the
not
next
not necessarily a question, but it feels like, and I think this is a good thing, a good way to end this segment, and then you can move to the next story. But it feels like to me, after we get Margaret's comment on this, feels like to me, and I was saying this when I did an interview with Alan D. Lath from he's for abolishing children protective services. And analyze, when you analyze it, the United States, you analyze the world capitalism internationally, it feels like the slavery industrial complex never ended. They just sort of changed the messaging. So slavery went away in the United States, but 13th Amendment, it went to prison. Like taking children away from Black and brown indigenous people went away. It just went to child protective services. So it just feels like we thought these people, capitalists who were making money off slavery, were just going to go, let's outlaw slavery and stop making money. That's not what happened here. That's just not what happened. And that to me is something to me in probably the last month that I'm waking up like, this stuff has not changed. This is just like a dressing they put on. You know what I mean? They just dressed the slave up and to look nicer. They gave him a nice house and then some, get the ability to get a haircut, and he's on TV. He can purchase items. And this is something I say to Black people all the time. Describe your freedom without talking about something you got to use money for. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
So do you want to comment, or we can move on?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Civil War defeated the Confederacy and defeated chattel slavery. But what did they do right away? One of the post-Civil War amendments, the 13th Amendment, did away with involuntary servitude, except for punishment for committing a crime, which is why people incarcerated in this country have to work some states pay them nothing. Some pay them a pittance. Some charge them for being in jail. So even if they are being paid anything, they end up leaving jail in debt. And
sharecropping. That's comes
essentially
from sharecropping.
And
Yes.
if I know people who say if prisoners make something, it should say made in prison. We should know when when somebody else is benefiting from prison labor. They had convict leasing system that which was only outlawed in the 1930s. Black people could be snatched up anywhere. They could accuse you of being a vagrant or anything else they wanted to make up and send you to jail so that you could work for nothing. And so you're absolutely right. And the prison industrial complex continues to this day. 2 million incarcerated people. Half of them are Black. Are Black people half of the population? No, we are not. The U.S. has both more people in prison than any other country in the world, but also a greater percentage of its population incarcerated. So I always remember this when they want to tell me about human rights in China or tell you about the Uyghurs, and most of what you're told about them is wrong. And there weren't a million Uyghurs. Nobody ever claimed, although when they want to really spread the propaganda, it's 5 million Uyghurs, it's 10 million, it's 20 million. I'm like, well, how many is it? Come on. But and child protective services. We've had some articles, and I've done some interviews on Black Agenda Radio with activists on this issue. Black children can be taken from their parents for any reason at all. Usually it's just because people are poor. So if a family runs out of, and there are all these mandated reporters, teachers, nurses. So if someone tells their teacher, we don't have food in the house, the teacher is supposed to report this, and the family can be charged with neglect, and the kids can be taken from them and put into foster care, and nobody ever benefits from being in foster care. There are very few kids in foster care who really could not be cared for at home. I mean, they do have kinship foster care here in New York. There are a lot of kids in that, but even then, the entire system is broken, and it's meant to keep Black people in this state of servitude that you mentioned.
Yeah,
and it's profitable. I didn't know this,
Yes.
Nick. They make money to take your kids and give them to white people and pay white people money to have your kids, essentially, is what's happening. I learned that in the interview I did on Friday.
Yeah, they
Like
do
that is
that.
a
Some of these agencies, these foster care agencies, they make a fortune. They have these contracts with cities and states,
yes.
and they're people making money off of this theft of children. Most of the time is not warranted.